G'day and welcome to the Grow a Small Business Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Truen. Each week, we speak with an owner who has grown a business with 5 to 30 team members to something bigger. Diving into their numbers and unearthing the pain they've experienced, we explore what they did to overcome each barrier and what they would do differently from day one. Let's get into it. Welcome, everyone. Today I'm interviewing Michelle Nedelec from Awareness Strategies. She's based in Calgary, Canada. Thanks for your time today, Michelle.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Let's start with how we know each other. We both use the Podmatch platform for guests to find podcasts to go on and vice versa.
Absolutely. And so far, it's been a fantastic platform for being able to connect with amazing people from around the world. So yeah, we've been loving it.
Great. And tell our audience a bit about your business, what it does and how it makes money.
We are a marketing tech done for you company. So we help business owners by doing their marketing tech for them. So basically they say, I need a landing page, I need to sell this thing, I need to do all this stuff. And we make sure that all of the technological aspects get done for them so that they can move on and focus on the thing that they love to do.
Great. How did you start out?
Great question. So you want the long version and the short version?
Go the long version. I've got plenty of coffee here.
So we, in about 2000, I started off speaking and teaching personal development programs, and we kind of morphed that business into the executive coaching and helping business owners to succeed not only through their business acumen, but through understanding the difference in entrepreneurial mindset from a C-suite mindset or an employee mindset, which is very vastly different. And in about 2015, our clientele was asking us to go online. And at that point, we realized because of all the programs that we were going through that marketing digitally is different than marketing yourself analog or in a traditional way. So somehow, some way, we had to decide what that thing was that we were going to be training on. So it could have been training on how to speak from stage or how to build a business, but somehow, some way we had to decide. And we noticed that with all of my peers in those mastermind groups that we were in, they couldn't grasp the technology. It was just eluding them at every step of the way. And I happen to be fortunate in that my partner in business and pleasures, we like to say, runs a high IT career. So he used to get hired by companies like Halliburton and IBM to do special project managers to build out software that had never been built out before. So we're talking multi-million-dollar projects with hundreds of people, years, that sort of thing. And he was kind of getting at the point where he was sick of doing it just because of all the politics involved at that level. And I said, well, why don't we just change it to a done for you tech model so that we're doing the tech for these people so that they can go on stage and do the things they love. They can build the content, they can, decide what they want to do and how they want to do it, but we'll just be there to support them in every way we can in the back end. And that's what we decided to do. And it's been going really well.
Right. So what year did Awareness Strategies start and how old were you?
So as a tech company, it was about 2015-16 that we made the changeover. So what has that been? 6-8 years, somewhere in there.
Yep.
And it was kind of a morph between business. So we never really changed the name, and we never said like, this is where we start and this is where we stop, because I had clients that we just kept working with. Because most of my clients, the way I had set up my business, would work with me for 8 to 10 years. I still have a client that's been working with me since 2005. So we have a little bit of longevity there. And the way we've constructed our business for the tech done side for you, it's a longevity based system as well. So our clients don't just sign up for a project and say they're in and out in 4 months and here's your thing, go, good luck. We like to partner with our clients and make sure that they're still using things, that they're still moving forward in the business, that they have some support. One of the biggest issues we also found was not only not knowing who to trust and support in the tech side of the world, is that a lot of business owners feel like they've gone into business by themselves, for themselves, and they don't have the support there to go, hey, how am I supposed to be doing this? There's a lot of businesses out there that will charge them extra to be in their coaching program or their thing, but they're not necessarily getting the advice and the camaraderie and the kind of brainstorming that we find that entrepreneurism it needs in order to be able to flow well.
Yep, right. And so technically then you started year 2000. How old were you?
Yeah, in 2003, we started
Yeah.
awareness strategies as a thing in the personal development realm. Yep.
Yep. And how old were you then? 2003, 20 years ago.
33. Giving me flashbacks. So yeah, prior to that, the fun. So just so you know, we did a little fun survey on me. I have had 28 career pivots since I started.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought I was
Okay,
bad.
that might have been a little overdone, but come
Yeah.
on.
I thought I was bad. I've owned 15 businesses with 30 business partners in 3 countries. So you've topped me there. So you were 23 in 2003 when you started?
No, that was so when I was 23, I started my first entrepreneurial companies in Nunavut in the Northwest Territory. So we started a electronics store, a bed and breakfast, and a tanning salon. And
all at once.
they were all at once because go big or stay home.
Yeah, that's it.
And yeah, unfortunately for myself and for my partner at that time, they didn't the relationship between us did not work out. So therefore the businesses did not work out in our names. But it was massive learning curves all around. I'll give you a fun story. So one of them that we owned was a tanning salon because I was thinking, white people living up north, they need to go and get a tan before they go on holidays because everybody leaves in October, November, December to go on holiday. And the phone was ringing off the hook, which is fantastic, but they were wanting to tan their hides, not their wives. So if you've ever been up north, people need to, at that time, hunt for their survival. There was a lot of tanning still going on of hides. So yeah,
right. Yeah, got it.
They were a little confused by me.
Yeah, got it. So the business started in 2003. How old were you?
Yeah, 33.
33. Great.
At that time.
And do you have some key numbers you can share, illustrate the growth of the business over the last 20 years?
Oh, over the last 20 years. That's entertaining. Yeah. Initially, when we started off, I think I had a whopping $40,000 a year. But at least I stayed in business. I was pretty excited about that. When we pivoted to the digital online one, we started off at about 200,000. And then as we changed our clientele to the bigger clients, we got a huge contract, which was great fun. And we were at about 400,000. And the issue with that one was it was too straining with the confines that we had built within the business. So the system that we had set up at that time wasn't set up to function. So it led to a lot of burnout. And I decided we're not doing that again. We're going to smaller clients, and this is how this is going to work. We started doing that and realized that they were kind of high maintenance, just like the bigger clients were, but they were paying less. So we decided to pivot again. But fortunately, we planned those pivots such that we still increased. So it was about 200, 300, we're at about 500.
Yep.
And the plan right now, the way we have it set up is really we need 20 clients to hit the $1 million mark, and we have the staff in place to be able to do that. So
great.
It's getting smarter and better.
And how many full-time equivalents did you start with, and how many do you have now?
Yeah, we started with none. It was myself and my partner, and now we have 12 of us full-time equivalents on team.
And the 12 includes yourself?
Yes.
Yep. Great. That's awesome growth.
Yeah.
When was the moment you felt like you had succeeded?
I think feelings are elusive, which is, I think that somebody can be super successful and not feel that they're successful. And I think somebody can be failing miserably and feel like they're on top of the world. And fortunately, I kind of grasp onto that is my feelings of success are attached to the goals that I hit as I hit them. So as we're hitting our projections, that's when we celebrate the successes. And I don't let any minor losses or minor successions kind of elude me on that one. So to me, success is just, do I have a goal and am I achieving it? Yes. The success that I'm looking for at this point is really the $1 million in revenue. And then the one after that will be 50 employees full time. Those are my targets. And that's what I want to hit.
Oh, great. That's a pretty audacious growth. I'll have to have you back on in a couple of years, see if you've hit that 50.
Right. Looking forward to it.
Number one thing you'd recommend to marketing a fast growing business?
Number one thing to marketing is to ask more questions than you're putting money out to solve your problems. The biggest problem I see with a lot of business owners is they will put money out and go, oh, that sounds good, we'll buy that. And then they try and figure out whether or not it'll actually work to be able to help the growth of their business. And if they put more questions out first and aren't kind of submitted to this, buy in 3 days, otherwise the offer is gone. Let those go and figure out what do you actually want to achieve in your business, strategize with it, and then build the plan out and say, do you qualify to fit my plan? And if they don't get to become part of your plan.
Yep. How did you fund the business?
It was bootstrapped for the most part. So, like you said, fortunately, Brad was working in contracts. So he had substantial contracts, which helped me to start my business and get off the ground. And then as he was transitioning, our business was up and running. So at that point, we could transition both of us into it and bring on clients. The most fun part to me is bringing on new clients or new employees is how do you decide where to fit those in? Because a lot of people will say, oh, just hire the best and you'll make the money up for it, which works great if you have the feasibility and the wherewithal to be able to do that. And when it comes to kind of what I'm going to call subordinates, the ones that are actually, hitting the keys, we have built a training process for them so that when they get onboarded, they may know nothing about what their job entails, but we have a training program for how to be able to build them out as fast as possible so that they're having fun, they're not overwhelmed, they're excited because they're always learning new things, and they get to grow and change with their clients. And as they hit certain bars and successions, they get to move up in complexity of clients, as we call them. And then that way, we really created a system whereby we can bring on new employees before we need them, and we're not breaking the bank. And then as we get the clients, we can kind of phase them into working with those clients, and the clients are happy because they're getting the competencies that they're requiring.
Yeah, it's always tricky. I've had quite a few professional service businesses, but hiring ahead of the curve, it's always a risk. But it sounds like you've got a good onboarding procedure in place and something that people value more highly than pay is that exactly what you talked about. So challenging work, growth opportunities, and feeling supported by their manager, which sounds like you've nailed it with that onboarding.
Yeah, we like it, and we've had a lot of fun with it. Our employees have a lot of fun with it too, because for the most part, when we're interviewing on attitude and how they learn, how they like to learn, how they like to deal with stress, how they deal with things when problems happen. So all of those kind of fit a certain culture that we're looking for. And then once they've kind of transitioned into the company, they're like, oh, wow, I always thought these things were hangups. I didn't realize that these were bonuses in my personality. I was like, those so-called personality flaws are fantastic, and we will utilize those to the best of our ability.
Yeah, that's great. So just back on funding, so it's just you and Brad, no other investors in the business?
No other investors in the business, not at this point.
If you were to start up today with plenty of funding, would you go into your industry?
Oh, yes. Yes, we would. And primarily because one, it's Brad's field. So software and software development has always been up Brad's alley. And although I have computer programming, I am more of a strategy person. I love helping businesses with their strategies and helping them develop the plan of least resistance to their end goal and helping them achieve that. So to me, it's a perfect combination of the two skill sets and being able to bring that to small business where it's been very difficult in the past to get, that level of skill set to be able to help them out.
Can you outline the most stressful point in your small business growth journey so our audience can learn from it?
Absolutely. Is bringing on clients that we're breathing.
That we're breathing.
When the only requirement is your clients are breathing and they can pay. Well, no, when your only requirements are that your client's breathing, it's a problem. Two, they have to be able to pay for it. And three, they have to have the wherewithal to be able to recognize what it is that you do and to be able to value it. And a lot of, unfortunately, even though we can help a lot of people, it's kind of like I was talking to one of my friends that runs a bunch of gym franchises. And he said, people have the wherewithal to pay us. but they don't have the wherewithal to change. And I can't make them change. I can't strap them onto a machine and make them work out. And likewise, you can't make their businesses grow. If they don't have the wherewithal to want to have their businesses grow, we can't make them. So a lot of it is interviewing our clients now and figuring out kind of where their drive and motivation is, because a lot of people, unfortunately, kind of had the attitude of, hey, you're going to run my business for me. You're going to do all my ad copy. You're going to do all my product design. You're going to do everything. Okay, I'm going to go sit on a beach in Maui.
Yeah.
Let me know when I made $1 million. And it's like, yeah, it doesn't work that way.
So it's a bit of an education process for them, but also helps you filter out particularly, well, arseholes. So you're not working with clients you don't want to work with. But secondly, and this is really hard, is identifying and only taking on those clients that are actually going to put the hard work in and actually want things to change.
Absolutely. And I find that they're somewhat easy to find, is asking them, you know, what's your passion about your business? What do you love about it? What do you hate about it? What do you want to, where do you want it to be in 5 years? And when they get more excited than I am, that's a good sign. When they're not more excited about it, that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
Because I can be super excited about building a business, and I should be. I should be really excited about the tech, and I should be really excited about the potential that you have to build your business, because I can see things in it that you can't. But at the end of the day, you still have to be the one paying the bill. You still have to be the one making the decisions. You still have to make your business grow, because I have to put on my oxygen mask on my business first.
That's right. Yeah. What area in business do you feel you've had to work on the most to add the greatest value?
The biggest one I would say is actually financial, which was kind of bizarre, because in my business experiences, I've always had the benefit, the opportunity of having staff and having employees, which is fantastic, and having the wherewithal and the coaching to know how to help these people and how to respect them and their journey as an employee. So that's been a lot of fun. But figuring out the balance between when do we bring the money in and when don't we, and when do we get loans and when don't we, when you have to get the loans when you don't need the money, but now you're carrying debt. And, you know, there's a whole ton of mindset around that I underestimated initially.
Yep. What have you enjoyed the least about managing fast growth?
I don't know. That's a good question, because one of the things that I liked the least was taking on roles that weren't part of my personality type. It's like, okay, we need somebody to do this. I will go and do this. And as soon as I realized, hey, I suck at this, I'm going to fire me, and I'm not allowed to do this job anymore at all. So the fast growth allowed me to put people in place to be able to do those things that I was not particularly competent at.
What do you love most about growing a small business?
Helping entrepreneurs. I absolutely love and adore being able to help somebody wrap their head around it, because I don't think it's just about the business. I think it's about helping them as an individual to figure out what their capacity is and what their potential is. And a lot of people think that potential is just, you know, could I go out and run $1 million business? You know, maybe. The issue with potential, like in a physics example, is that something has to be in a state of tension or stress in order to be able to have that potential energy to be able to get that distance. And I think it's really difficult for entrepreneurs to be able to understand that the tension and stress that they're in is actually a good thing. In fact, it's a fantastic thing. And being able to kind of give them those aha moments and help them to see how they can springboard themselves to a whole new place is fantastic, amazing. It's kind of the miracle of life as far as I'm concerned, and it's never ending.
What has been the biggest mindset shift for you in your small business growth journey?
The biggest mindset shift is that I'm capable and I'm competent, and that my past experiences have allowed me to be exactly where I am. When I was younger, it was a fluke that I was where I was. It was because of somebody else, because I was where I was, all of those things. And I had to wrap my head around it. No, it's because of me that I am where I am right now. And because I am where I am right now, I have the potential to do X, Y, and Z, whatever that might be. And it's, and as far as I'm concerned now, my obligation to do those things. It's my obligation to put out content. It's my obligation to help the community. It's my obligation to kind of be able to bring all of the knowledge and experience that I have to the industry, so that, one, I can make it easier for them. Two, they can avoid mistakes that I made. God knows I made enough of them. We could write books on that. and to be able to, have a little fun doing it. Because up until now, I think the millennials are really good at having fun in business, but I think prior to that, we had a lot of stuffed shirts that thought that business has to be rigid, it has to be impersonal, it has to be a whole lot of things that it really doesn't have to be. And in fact, the more you can bring your personality to your career and your job and your placement, the more fun it can be and the more fun people around you have while doing their job. And if it's not a good fit, well, then let them leave or leave and, go find out where your spot is, because when you find that special place, it's miraculous and it's just a ton of fun.
The number one habit you think a small business owner needs to develop and maintain?
Perseverance, for sure. And if you want to click in perseverance and drive into those things, it's not that you have to be driven all day long, and it's not that you have to be hustling all day long. It's that when you realize that you're starting to slow down unintentionally, that you pick up again, and that you slow down intentionally and that you pick up intentionally. And so it's being able to just kind of get back on the bus as you see fit, making sure that you're taking appropriate breaks, and and that it never really ends, right? It's this business may end, this journey may end, this whatever it is may end, but that only allows you to get onto a bigger, better bus, if you want to put it that way, or bigger, better form of transportation, and go places that you've never dreamed of before.
Be the change you want to see in your business. Become more productive and less stressed with our free Transform Your Performance online course. Once you see the benefits, put your entire team through the course at no cost. We start out by telling you the secret to guaranteed success, then over 100 lessons help you be more focused, present, productive, and feel more in control about work. growasmallbusiness.com.
Can you talk to how you've added people to the team, some wins, mistakes, and advice for those listening?
Absolutely. Our biggest thing right now is, like I said, hiring for aptitude and culture. And previously we had been hiring for attitude. We definitely wanted attitude, but we found out that attitude can break down in an employee role very quickly if their aptitude is not also taken into account. And that's basically, how do they learn? A lot of people will learn because they study something, they get it down pat, they've mastered it, and they feel comfortable doing it on their own. We wanted to have people that like to mess things up. It's like, hey, here's a challenge. Ask me whatever questions you want to ask me about it. And then they'd ask the questions and we kind of go, okay, here's how I see it going down. Go do this, that, and the other thing, and report back to me in an hour and just let me know how it's going. That has worked much better for us, especially in the industry that we're in, because in technology, I mean, everything could change in 6 hours when you started doing it. All the things you thought you were working with, you aren't, because something new came out. And you need to have adaptability in what you're doing. You need to have the ability to be able to take on challenges that you don't understand, and that the probability of failing is quite high, and knowing that it's okay. It's totally okay. Go mess it up, freak out, and go do what you got to do, and come back to us, and we'll help you to figure out how to problem solve it. It's kind of fun, actually, in that I don't feel like I'm a boss or a manager over our people. I kind of feel like I'm their mom and I'm helping them navigate this thing called life. And how do you problem solve? How do you do things on your own? How do you learn things that you want to learn? How do you tell people that you're really kind of bored with this thing? And hey, does anybody else want to take how can I take on something that's more interesting? And just to have kind of tough conversations with people that normally wouldn't be allowed in a workspace, and to have fun with it.
Yeah, well, that's you've said the two things that I look for during recruitment, which is attitude and aptitude. Obviously, there's a shit ton of questions and observations to identify someone with both those attributes that we want. But yeah, that's the main.
Well, and yeah, absolutely. And different companies are going to have different ones, right? Like your company might run completely different than mine does, even though we're both kind of looking for this. We're asking similar questions, but we're looking for different answers within those. And neither one of them are wrong. It's just that we know kind of what the beacon is that we're looking for and what a proper fit is, which I think in the past has not been, we all know of the HR interview that's like, oh, it's fabulous working here. You're going to love working here. It's amazing working here. You work there and it's absolute hell on wheels. That's not what we want to create. So during our interview process, I'm like, our atmosphere is crazy. Things are thrown at you all the time. We work on a triage system with our clients. So whoever has a problem and it needs to be fixed, we go and fix that problem, and we figure out whose quote unquote problems can wait a little bit because the deadlines are further out. So it's kind of like working on a MASH unit in tech marketing, and something that has really no emergencies, and yet everything needs to be done yesterday.
Yeah, so it's really even more important in recruitment to find people that just revel in that atmosphere, or that environment, and it's win-win-win. Everyone wins. You, the client, the team member.
Yep, and our employees, it's quite funny. They have a lot more fun when they're in the hot seat, when stuff is flying at them and they get to problem solve. They get to do that. They feel like that's their calling, which is super fun. So yeah, that's what we want to find out at the beginning.
What are some of the things you recommend to building a sustainable and kick-ass culture to help with the growth?
One is knowing who you are. Paramount. You cannot, I think, run a kick-ass culture without knowing who you are and why certain things bug you, because having the boss blow up in front of people is absolutely, in my opinion, unacceptable. And it's going to happen if you don't know yourself, and if your goal and your strive is always to kind of be number one in whatever element it is, that requires that you have the wherewithal to be able to know what kind of things piss you off, know what kind of things make you happy, know what kind of things just set you on fire and you're like, yes, this is the best day ever. You have to know what those aspects are, and you have to be able to clearly articulate those to your team in advance, so that when they happen, they're not freaking out. Nobody's freaking out. They're just excited that you're on fire, or they're like, oh, we fucked up. We got to fix this. And how do they fix it, right? Do you jump ship and everybody looks like rats on a burning boat? Or do they gather together and go, oh shit, we screwed up. It's time, we got to, and they start tightening the ropes and they start tying them all together again. It is paramount that the head person in charge, whatever that name description might be, knows that, and that they can articulate that down through their team. Otherwise, I think you're just asking for trouble.
Tell our audience how you've handled balance.
Balance is an entertaining thing. One of them is I bought a house in a Paramount place that I can see the Rocky Mountains from where I am. I have floor to ceiling windows. I see people walking around all the time, having fun, being calm, so that if things get elevated for me, I just stare at a very large rock over in the distance that is immovable and has withstood the test of time. And I go, okay, this too shall change. It's all good. And I can go back to doing what I'm doing. That instantaneous ability to be able to just calm down and go with things, to me, is the utmost importance of emotional balance. And then being able to go outside and access that, to physically have your body in place as well. Working on that one.
How much professional development have you invested in yourself?
Tons. I'm pretty sure we're at the $1 million mark on that one. So when I started with, the personal development side of things in my business was, the very first one when I was 23, the BDC loans officer, we were having a meeting, and he just kind of went, okay, we're going to stop this meeting. We need to talk about this. It was like, personal development became front and foremost on my list of things that I had to invest in myself. And I went, okay, that's awesome. And from there, it was a cycle to the point where I ran a personal development company and went like, entrepreneurs need to have the support in place to be able to overcome their past, because trauma doesn't always look like we think trauma looks. Sometimes trauma is just, oh, that's nice, honey. That's nice, honey. That's nice, honey. After about 6 years, and you start to think, oh, okay, I'm not good enough. I can't do this, and all of the implications that somebody attaches to that, even though on the outside they had a fantastic childhood and it was amazing. It's these little things that start to gnaw on us unconsciously that we're completely not aware of, that can have huge ramifications in our business, whether it's direct to the bottom line, clients paying us, employees staying with us, you name it. Yeah, it's almost bigger and more important than knowing how to run a business, because you can hire somebody to run your business. You can hire a COO, but you have to do the work yourself.
Have
I
you
had to do the work myself.
Yeah. Have you had mentors or coaches along the way?
Absolutely. So right off the bat was the BDC loans officer. It was also my partner who had been in business for a while. Them having conversations with them and learning about business. So as a child, I was really jealous of people that had entrepreneurs as parents, because I always thought that was kind of your ultimate mentorship, was getting it at the dinner table every day. And having employees as parents, union employees as parents, it's like I was the rebellious child. I went, no, I will start my own company. So to having somebody that understood it, had done it, been there, bought the t-shirt, at least knew what I didn't know going into a situation. I've almost not had a period where there wasn't somebody there for me.
Yep. Do you have a board of directors or advisors?
At this point, we do not have a board of directors and advisors. And part of me is thinking it would be a great idea. Part of me is thinking it's a terrible idea at this point. And part of the reason is I still want to have the sovereignty and the anonymity to be able to make decisions on, no, I want to change. I want to do a 45-degree change at this point. As soon as I start to kind of go, okay, yes, we now have the right kind of clients, we have the right kind of employees, everything is right. Okay, now what don't I know? And be able to bring those advisors closer and have more of a their skin in the game.
Yep.
At this point, at arm's length is kind of good enough for me, because I still change my mind too much.
Yeah. And you're one of the few we've had on that's exited a business, or a few businesses, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Any advice for the audience thinking about exiting?
Yes, ask more questions. Oh my God, ask questions, ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. It's almost like the HR meeting on a whole new level, is that the deal going into it is never what the deal is at the end of the day. And you really need to know what you don't know. And that starts with planning your business from the onset with the intention of exiting, even though you may not want to exit at this point. So to me, it's being able to understand it, not only kind of the valuation of your company, how that's going to happen, and understanding kind of what builds value in your company, what doesn't, all of those things that if you have an understanding of them right from the get-go, would have helped me to make a lot smarter decisions and a lot less emotional decisions.
All right, Michelle, we're on to our final 5 questions. What do you think is the hardest thing in growing a small business?
Getting out of your own way. If you had the wherewithal to be able to hire people to just start up a company and run a company, I guarantee it would run a hell of a lot more effectively than having one person ever to go, hey, I'm going to start this company and I'm going to be the CEO of that company. And it is because of this whole aspect of personal development, in being able to realize what it takes to be able to get to those different places is paramount. And I think somebody's 15th business is always more successful than their first business was, just because they're taking all of that learning curve into place and being able to apply it. It's inevitably going to be a different place to be.
Favorite business book which has helped you the most?
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, bar none. I have read that book and dog-eared it almost to the point of rewriting it. The other one was Think and Grow Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. I actually hand rewrote that book just to ingrain it in my brain, because the whole idea or notion of you are in control of your entire destiny, regardless of marketplace, regardless of your results, regardless of anything, for me took a lot to be able to drill into my head, because there was just so much conditioning around that not being the case.
Any great podcasts or online learning tools you use for your own professional development?
Absolutely, my own. I say that's the Business Ownership Podcast. And it's because I interview phenomenal guests from all around the world, from every aspect of business, from the startups to the exit strategy and everywhere in between. And I think that being able to get those perspectives, not only from different industries, but from different phases in business, so that you know what to work towards in your business, what kind of goals to be setting, understanding, the possibility and potential of business itself is a lot of, oh my God, I didn't even think I could do it that way. That's fantastic. And it's often the guests that I have that are brought in that are revolutionary for me, and it's super fun.
One tool you'd recommend to help grow a small business?
Can I recommend Infusionsoft or Keep Max Classic?
Yeah, it's now called Keep. It's Keep now, isn't it?
It is. The company name is Keep, and the product is Max Classic, formerly known as Infusionsoft, and I love it. Only because it does everything that we have asked it to do. So when companies get kind of to 100 employees or more, Salesforce.com for sure, or Salesforce, and less than that, you have the capacity to be able to have the CRM, have logic-based email campaigns, have affiliate marketing with transparent backends in them. And all of those things contribute to a business well run. So even if somebody's, whether they're running a professional services like a law firm, and they want to be able to have instant client data as soon as somebody picks up the phone, Infusionsoft has the ability to be able to connect with softwares to be able to make those kind of things happen. Or if you're selling on stage, or if you're a manufacturing company, its ability to be client concentric and get you the information that you need in a clean sort of way has been paramount for us. It's been a game changer.
Finally, my favorite question: what would you tell yourself on day one of starting out?
Do it the way you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down, figure out, if I could do this any way I wanted to do this, what would that look like? And go make that happen. There's nothing stopping you. If that's always the question, you'll always find the answer.
Fantastic. Thanks very much for your time today, Michelle. I've really enjoyed our chat. And congratulations to you and Brad, particularly on the more recent success. You're up to 12 full-time equivalents now after a lot of pivoting starting 20 years ago. So yeah, congratulations, and really interesting journey.
Well, thank you much. I appreciate it.
That's it. Thanks for listening. Please leave a review in iTunes or whatever platform you listen to us on. It means more small business owners will find our cast and help people with their business growth journey.